been 1 week since Minnesota stunned the wrestling world by beating top-ranked Oklahoma State at the national duels. Heavyweight Cole Konrad's dramatic pin against his arch-rival sealed the upset for the Gophers. Now, Minnesota is ranked #1 in the nation. Today, the Gophers try to stay unbeaten against perennial wrestling powerhouse, the Iowa Hawkeyes. 6th-ranked Iowa is led by Minnesota native Ty Eustice. He'll have his hands full with the fabulous Gopher freshman, Dustin Slater. It's a border battle for the governor's belt next on FSN North. For Gophers Wrestling tonight on FSN North. Thank you for joining us here from Williams Arena, and what a matchup it should be. The Iowa Hawkeyes visiting Minneapolis to take on the #1 ranked team in the country, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, here from Williams Arena. Thanks for joining us tonight as we look at your national rankings. As I mentioned, Minnesota right on top after opening the Big Ten with a win in that big win last week against Oklahoma State. They are 13-0. Iowa comes in ranked 6th in the country. Oklahoma State falls to the #2. And this should be an exciting matchup here from Williams Arena. With Will Short, I'm Ron Johnson. A border battle, a conference matchup. Iowa with Minnesota. You can go on and on and on.
Yeah, two fantastic wrestling programs in Division I wrestling. And I tell you what, Iowa comes in here ready to get another upset in college wrestling, so the Gophers better be ready to battle.
Yeah, it'll be an upset if they get it over the #1 team in the country. And the way they got there is by beating an Oklahoma State team that many people thought nobody could beat.
Yeah, starting the year you thought it was just over, but you got Rivera starts off with a huge win over Frischkorn and did a great job of getting that win at 141, and that was the first upset that the Gophers got. Then, of course, Dretsch at 174. He came up with another ranked wrestler that was higher than him and got the win. And then Roger Kish gets a win over another ranked opponent that was ahead of him. And then, of course, in the big heavyweight rematch of the All-Star Classic, the NCAA Finals, you see Cole Konrad pinning the national champion Steve Mocco from Oklahoma State, and a huge upset for the Gophers, and hope for all college wrestling teams now that Oklahoma State is beatable.
And Konrad just added the drama to that, really. They didn't need the pin, but he got it, and you'll take that.
Well, I tell you what, at heavyweights, when guys go to their back, it's usually over. They don't come off their back, and in that kind of match, at a heavyweight match, that can happen.
Well, definitely the closer there for the University of Minnesota as he gets the big pin. They knock off Oklahoma State, but now they can't look at that match anymore. Now we're in the Big Ten schedule here with Iowa, and we've got a pretty good one with Dustin Slatter going tonight against the guy from Blue Earth, Minnesota, and Ty Eustice.
Ty Eustice is wrestling really well right now. The coaches are excited about him. Here you see Dustin Slatter. He just beat the national champion, Zach Esposito, at the national duels. Dustin has all kinds of offense. He's going to have to be really sharp today because Ty Eustice is great defense, and he has been a dominant force for the Hawkeyes so far. 15-0, #1 ranked in the country. We got a great matchup tonight there at 149.
Yeah, I'm sure the guys on the mat are ready for this one. You ready for it, Will?
I'm super excited. On paper, this looks like this could go either way, and that's why you have the matches, because let the wrestlers decide.
Yeah, they call this one the border battle. It's in the Big Ten, and it's for the belt. We will have Iowa and Minnesota from Williams Arena coming up on FSN North. It's time for Gophers Wrestling here on FSN North. #6 Iowa visiting the #1 ranked team in the country, the Golden Gophers from the University of Minnesota. We are at Williams Arena tonight. I'm Ron Johnson, my partner Will Short. Minnesota coming off of its first Big Ten win on Friday, looking to go 2-0 in the conference. Iowa comes in #6 in the country. Jim Zaleski, the head coach for Iowa, of course an assistant here at Minnesota. Jay Robinson, head coach for the University of Minnesota, going for win number 100 in the Big Ten. Some of those wins when you were part of his team.
Yeah, Jay's had a fantastic career at Minnesota, but I'm sure he'd like to get this one today.
And it would be a big one, 100 in the Big Ten, and also against Iowa, so the border brawl. Our first 5 matches of the night will start with 125 pounds. Travis Lang going for the Golden Gophers. Lucas Magnani going for Iowa. At 133, Mack Reiter. He's 20-2 on the year, going against Daniel Dennis. At 141, Manuel Rivera going for the Golden Gophers, ranked number 19, against Alex Tsirtsis for Iowa. Dustin Slater at number 2 in the country, 149 against the number 1 ranked wrestler, Eustice. We talked about him just a couple of minutes ago in the open. And CP Schlatter going at 157. Joe Johnston will start things here with 125 pounds. And your early take on the 125-pound matchup?
Well, Magnani's going to be favored here for Iowa. Look for this to not be a real high-scoring match on the feet, but look for Lang to try and win this match on the mat here a little bit. He has a definite style that is conducive to beating people when he's on top. However, he's shown that he can do some things on the feet as well, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here in this match. Magnani comes in 8-9, Lang 21-9, so both guys have lost some matches but have got some wins. And Magnani, even though he's wrestled a lot of tough, highly ranked opponents, and he's just missed, and he's wrestled a lot of these guys real tough. He's been very close, and that's why he's still a little bit favored here in this match.
Travis Lang did not wrestle on Friday for the Gophers when they beat Northwestern to open up the Big Ten schedule, getting the start here tonight against Iowa.
Here's a nice shot by Lang. He's got an opportunity. He's got to come up off his knees. Look at the knee from Magnani. Look at the knee. The official lets it go. Still no points. Tremendous scramble here from both wrestlers. Must establish control in wrestling to get considered a 2-point takedown. No control yet, nothing. What a scramble. Magnani doing everything he could to stay out of that takedown. But a nice offensive attempt by Travis Lang. Here he is on the leg. You see Magnani's knee here. Look at this, turned all the way backwards. Unbelievable situation there, and they let it go, but it came out no points.
It's about 1:15 left to go in this first round. First matchup of the afternoon, Iowa and Minnesota at 125 pounds.
In the sport of wrestling, flexibility can be a huge asset to a wrestler. Right there you saw Lucas Magnani's knee flexibility keep him out of trouble there, where most wrestlers probably would have been scored on, or may even have blown out their knee in some situations.
And that's what makes these guys such outstanding athletes. You have to be strong and you have to be flexible as well, so it's a real big balance in there.
Absolutely, and what you just said, balance and coordination, it's every aspect of your body. Magnani yet to commit to a shot here. Lang's made the only real attempt so far. Both guys just battling. Hand fighting is what they call it, hand fighting for position, to create a lane to shoot, and a shot meaning tacking legs. Here's Magnani on a leg. Opportunity to finish here. No control yet. Still no control. There's two. And a reversal from Travis Lang. Wait. No, it was not a reversal. Kevin Tan's going to change his call, and he's just going to call loss of control rather than a reversal. And Lang's only going to get 1 point for that. That's probably the correct call. Right here, as you see Lang, this is the takedown from Magnani. As soon as Lang let go of across his body, and now you consider control there in college wrestling right there. That's 2 points for Magnani. Here's the reversal just at the end there, but didn't turn out to be a reversal, just an escape.
See Iowa with the all-time lead, 62-23-1. The Gophers, though, 33-15-1 versus the Hawkeyes here in Minnesota. So the scoreboard tight early on here, Will. The riding time now at about 22 seconds, so pretty much a stalemate so far. We see one guy with an advantage despite what the score says.
Well, here's a big advantage for Magnani opening up the match at 4-2. Really nice offensive double leg right there from Magnani, and Lang could do nothing but give up the takedown. He just tied the match with the escape at 2-2, but now down 4-2, and Magnani's building riding time again. Remember in college wrestling, if one wrestler is in the control position for longer than a minute, but there's a reversal from Travis Lang, and now here he is. This is where he's tight. This is where he's tough on top. This is where they want Lang. They want the match to be right here. Score 4-4. Lang in control on top. Lang using a little side roll, a little crafty side roll to create a reversal here with Magnani. Magnani riding a little too tight and not feeling Lang's kind of roll position there, and gives up another reversal, and he almost gave up the reversal earlier in the match.
Real quick, Will, you got into riding time, then you got cut off. But first, let's do the replay.
Here's a replay, just a little side roll, and just Magnani real tight to him, and couldn't defend that roll. Oh, Magnani up with this an escape. So leads now 5-4. There's no riding time advantage. Slight advantage toward Iowa. He's 11 seconds, but nothing that will matter in a point at the end of the match.
30 seconds in the period.
30 to score, man, 30.
So our 125-pound weight class. Travis Lang going for the Golden Gophers. Lucas Magnani going for Iowa. 5-4 Magnani with the early advantage. 20 seconds to go here in the second.
Lang tying Magnani up here a little bit. Both guys have showed some offense, showed some good explosiveness so far here in this match. Magnani tries a duck under and then follows with a shuck to a single, but Lang steps out.
After 2 periods, Magnani leading 5-4.
5-4 Magnani with the advantage as we go in the final period. Also 11 seconds on the riding time.
Here's what being good on top can do for you when you're a wrestler like Lang is. Most situations, well, here's a single from Magnani. He's going to have to finish quicker. He's going to get called for a stalemate. Stalemate is in wrestling when both wrestlers cannot improve their situation. Still no call here. Lang in a little bit of trouble. No points, because there's no control established there. Still no, now there's 2. Magnani with a nice scramble finish there off that single leg. Magnani's showing a little bit more offense. I was going back to earlier, Magnani chose not to go down, and most college wrestlers will go down when it's their choice because they're so efficient at getting away and getting that 1 point. He chose to go both neutral because they were worried about him getting away from Lang. But turned out to be the right choice. Here's Magnani in on another shot. Lang defends this time, 7-5. Lang would need a takedown to tie. There is no riding time advantage.
Lang needs a rally here with 30 seconds to go.
30 seconds remaining.
Lang's going to have to make an attempt here. 15 seconds. It's going to be tough to score on the edge, and tries a headlock, and that will not be enough.
5 seconds to go in the 125-pound weight class, and it looks like Lucas Magnani's going to get the first points for Iowa. As the buzzer sounds, he wins it 9-5 over Travis Lang.
That was a well-contested match. Lucas Magnani just had more offense than Travis Lang did on the feet, and did a nice job of just kept attacking the legs.
And when Travis Lang tried to make his move at the end, Magnani able to pick up a couple more points to pad it for himself.
I think we would have liked to have seen, or the Gophers probably would have liked to have seen Travis Lang take a shot at our leg attempts rather than trying to headlock. Not a real high percentage move in college wrestling.
Now it's Daniel Dennis and Mack Reiter here in the 133-pound weight class. Mack, just a young athlete, a sophomore from Iowa, 60-9 his career record.
Mack has just been dominant since he started for the Gophers last year at this weight class. Comes in ranked number 3 in the country. He's been wrestling very well. This is an opportunity for the Gophers to not just get a win, but maybe score some bonus points here. Daniel Dennis comes in with a 13-9 record. He's unranked. Gophers are heavily favored in this match.
Reiter 13-0 against unranked wrestlers. 7 pins and a couple of major decisions. And also this probably a little more emotion in here for Mack, being that he grew up in Iowa as a Hawkeye fan.
Yeah, it was certainly a big decision for Reiter to come to the University of Minnesota and leave Iowa. Iowa tends to not lose very many good Iowa wrestlers, but in Mack Reiter they did. And there's a takedown for Reiter. Here's a takedown, and you'll see right at the end of this match here, you see Reiter's feet stay in bounds, and that's going to give him 2 points. Even if the other wrestler is out of bounds, if your feet are still in, you're going to get 2.
2-0 early here. Mack Reiter with the advantage over Daniel Dennis in our 133-pound weight class, our second match of the day.
Mack is very efficient on top as well. Both him and Lang are known for the things that they can do on top, but Mack's been known for a cradle, and what he's doing right now, he's working on trying to lock up that cradle, wear down his opponent. You see Daniel Dennis has probably done some scouting of him, and he's trying to control that top hand so he doesn't get cradled. You can see him right there, grab and hold that hand and holding on to it so Reiter can't get his hands locked.
The riding time reaching 50 seconds.
I think you're going to see Reiter establish riding time here in this match.
Mack picked up a 5-2 decision on Friday in the Big Ten opener against Northwestern. Looking to make it a perfect weekend with a minute to go here in the first.
These decisions that you have to make as a coach. Mack could maybe continue to ride his opponent here, Daniel Dennis, but if he does, he may not build enough points to get a major decision and score what they call bonus points in wrestling. If you get a decision, you get 3. If you win by 8, you get 4. If you win by 15, it's a tech fall, you get 5. And of course, if you pin, you get 6. Well, by riding, he's establishing riding time, but he's not scoring any more points. Although here, Daniel Dennis has now been warned again for stalling and given up a point there, so it's now 3-0. If you were to let your opponent go and take him down, it'd go 2-1 and you'd start to increase your lead. They're choosing to keep Dennis down right here, and there are some advantages to this. Is Reiter wearing him down? Is he getting to the point where he's working on an arm, working on a guy's hips and wearing him down, getting him tired so that maybe later in the match he could pin Dennis? So it's all just a little chess game going on right now with the coaches and with Mack Reiter.
This one just about done for the first period with Mack Reiter up 3-0. Also has an advantage of 2 minutes and 4 seconds on the riding time. Well, the Golden Gophers come in at #1 in the country so far this year. Talked about Iowa, they're at #6. The last 11 years here, you're NCAA champions. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma State, Minnesota, Minnesota, Iowa, 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 Iowa. Not a bad run for those 3 teams.
Those 3 teams are the top 3 programs in the country and have been for many years. And the way things are going, another takedown for Reiter. It's going to stay that way for quite some time. They continue to get the top recruits in the country, and they're just very good programs.
Mack up 5-0.
Daniel Dennis had his choice here at the beginning of the second period. He chose to go neutral. Obviously, he got rode for a good almost 2 minutes in that first period, so he didn't want to go back down. And then, of course, Reiter takes him down. Now he's down again. Now, he's up 5-0. He's guaranteed himself almost riding time for a 6-0 score at the end of the match, but he still needs to go for that major decision, and he needs to get an 8-point lead. So here's his takedown. Mack just on a bear hug, and Dennis just didn't want to get thrown to his back, so he bailed out and went down.
Now you're talking about him trying to gain points to get the major decision. So is it a matter of just coming out, getting that riding time, establishing yourself, and then later on making that big move to get those big points?
Well, he can try and turn as the match goes on, and that's what he's doing here. Or the coaches could get to the point here, and they may in the third period decide, this guy's not going to do it. Look at this, he's been warned again. Daniel Dennis has been warned again for stalling. What that stalling call means is the official does not believe, and the official is Kevin Tan today, who does not believe that he's actually trying to get away. He's just trying to avoid being turned, and that is the case right now. Daniel Dennis is not trying to get away. He's just trying to not be turned. Mack Reiter now has 3 minutes and 18 seconds of riding time. He's dominant on top. So technically on the scoreboard, it is 6-0, but at the end of the match, he will be awarded another riding time point. And he's still got Dennis down. 19 seconds to go here in the second period.
Down to 10 seconds now with Mack Reiter up 6-zip, dominating on the riding time, coming up to about 4 minutes. So that's really a non-issue now.
What Daniel Dennis has to be aware of right here is if he gets hit with another stalling call, it will be a 2-point penalty, and then one more after that. He is disqualified from the match and is awarded a pin. Now, Dennis is in the bottom position here, but you see Max finish into him and drive him back down to the mat. Very much like a takedown, but wasn't awarded any points for that maneuver.
A 133-pound weight class going into the third period now. Mack Reiter with a huge advantage over Daniel Dennis from Iowa.
He's up 7-0. He's in a front headlock situation here, trying to get a go behind. Got to keep him on the mat, running out of real estate, and drives him off.
Now if you're Daniel Dennis, what are you trying to do?
You're trying,
hang on?
You're trying not to give up any more points for your team than you already have. He's looking like he's probably going to get majored. If he could score a takedown in this period, he would save a team point for Iowa. So he's not just wrestling for himself now. Now he's wrestling for his team. He needs to come up with a takedown and save the major decision for Iowa. The Reiter in on another shot. Dennis has to be careful. He can't keep backing off. If you back off from wrestling and you don't stay in the match and you don't try and hold your position, you could be warned for stalling. And of course you know that he's already been warned 3 times, and the next one's a 2-pointer. 1 minute to go here in the third period. Reiter in on a single. Tries to come up to a bear hug. Still attacking. Still trying to score. He's got to stay offensive or he will not get a call for stalling on Dennis. And there is another stalling call on Daniel Dennis, and that is a 2-point penalty this time. He's not being aggressive enough. He's not trying to score. He's not coming forward, and he's been warned again. Reiter, 27 seconds to go. 27, 25 seconds now. He's got a 9-point lead plus 1 for riding time. He's up 10. A 5-point move right here would give him a tech fall and another point for Reiter. So both guys got something to wrestle for. Here's a chance for Dennis to score. 2 points. A big takedown for Daniel Dennis.
Ten seconds to go. Mack Reiter up 9-2. Daniel Dennis trying to hang on.
Mack's going to hold on for the major decision. 10-2 with the awarded point for riding time. Mack Reiter.
Minnesota 4, Iowa 3. It's the border brawl on FSN North. Minnesota leading Iowa with 2 matches in the books, 4-3 here from Williams Arena. It's Gopher Wrestling on FSN North. FSN North welcomes Twin Fest presented by Dodge to the Metrodome January 29th through the 27th through the 29th. Stop by the FSN North, be a sports anchor booth, and record your very own sports update for free. All Twins Fest proceeds benefit the Twins Community Fund. Just about set up here for the 141-pound weight class. Manuel Rivera, number 19 in the country at 19-9, going for Minnesota. Alex Tsirtsis going for Iowa.
Manuel Rivera is coming off a huge win over number 6 Daniel Frischkorn of Oklahoma State. He's coming in with a lot of confidence, and we'll see what he can do if he can bring it into this match here. Alex Tsirtsis is a very high-quality wrestler. He's ranked number 12 in the country. So this is a big match for both teams. One of those matches that both teams feel like they have a shot at winning.
Manuel coming off of a 14-3 major decision over Marty Gold at the 141 weight class on Friday in the Big Ten opener against Northwestern.
Rivera started that run of upsets against Oklahoma State at the national duels and built a lot of confidence from that match. And let's see if he can bring it here today. Alex Tsirtsis is a very solid wrestler and does a lot of good things on the mat, and the coaches are really excited about him as well. So 2 guys who are well established at this weight class.
They scored a 9-4 win against Oklahoma State.
Both guys feeling each other out here a little bit here early in the match. Tsirtsis has a tendency to be a very fast starter and scores quick. And talking to one of the assistant coaches from the University of Minnesota, Joe Russell, they wanted Manuel to try and stay in the match and keep it close in the first period and try and wear on his opponent as the match went on.
This one even at zeros, 90 seconds in.
In a wrestling match, even though there's not a lot of action sometimes that you can see, there are things that are happening with hand fighting. And here's Rivera with a takedown on Tsirtsis. Just a little duck to the under Tsirtsis' right arm and gets an early takedown in the match.
You said there's not a lot going on physically, but I'm sure there's a whole lot going on in both those guys' heads.
It's mental and physical. They're wearing on each other's heads and arms, and that sometimes what you do in the first period will help you in the third period as a guy wears down. A college wrestling match is not only about technique and power and strength, it's about conditioning. And sometimes if two guys are even, the wrestler that has better condition is going to win the match. Well, no slow start Rivera. He's up 2-1 here early on Tsirtsis.
36 seconds on the riding time with 30 seconds to go here in the first period.
Rivera does a nice job of moving Tsirtsis' hands every once in a while. If he continues that technique, I think he's going to score more points in this match. You can see Alex Tsirtsis right here. He's trying to do a widely used technique in college wrestling. He's pulling and pulling the Manuel Rivera's head. Now that may not be paying dividends right now, but later on in the match, he's going to try and start to wear Manuel down and score points in the third period. So far, Rivera's been up to the test.
2-1 Rivera going into the second period. It's our third match of the day. First one goes to Iowa. And Mack Reiter comes back from Minnesota at 133.
Tsirtsis using a high half series. He doesn't want, Rivera didn't want to come through there. Did a nice job of getting that half off. Tsirtsis trying to build riding time. You can tell both these wrestlers extremely powerful for their weight. Continually amazed with Division I wrestlers that are extremely strong, well-conditioned athletes.
To pack all that force into a body that's only 140 pounds, amazing.
Tsirtsis trying to use an ankle ride, trying to keep Manuel Rivera down. He is now starting to work riding time in his favor. Of course, he gave up the takedown early in the first period. And now he's building time. He's got to be careful here that he doesn't lock his own hands around the body. You cannot do that when you're in a top position. He's in a little bit of trouble here. Tsirtsis got Rivera in trouble, but no back points. He had a 1 count. He needed 2 count for near fall points to be awarded. He got a 1, but not a 2 count. So no points awarded.
Now that riding time shifts the other way up to 45 seconds.
Tsirtsis showed a lot of power in that situation to pull Rivera over with that 2-on-1. Not sure what kind of turn he's doing here, but he's certainly in control. 54 seconds of riding time now for Tsirtsis. 30 seconds to go in the second period. Rivera chose the down position and hasn't been able to get away.
Why do you think he makes that decision?
I think he felt like he could get away in this situation, and yet Tsirtsis has done a nice job of keeping Rivera down, and now they're regretting that decision to go down, considering he did get an early takedown in this match, and maybe the neutral position would have been the right call.
Riding time up to above 20.
What this situation does, Tsirtsis gain. Here you see the replays. Here's that 2-on-1 on those arms. As he pulls him over, he's still hanging onto that arm down here. You see it again. And that's what pulled him over and was able to get him close to getting near fall points in that match. Incredible strength and grip in that situation.
I think we need to get you one of these to bring home with you just so you can play with the Telestrator anytime you want.
So now Tsirtsis, he takes the down position. Now if he can establish an escape here in the next 15 seconds, he will hold his riding time and actually be leading the match. And he does. He still holds on to his riding time. And now it's tied 2-2 on the scoreboard, but he's got a bonus point at the end of the match. So Rivera is now behind. Another duck attempt by Rivera. He's still got a leg here. Tries to duck him over. He's got his hands locked. Here's a 2-point takedown for Rivera. And he's got Tsirtsis in trouble. He's got the arm barred.
The crowd showing its appreciation for Manuel Rivera, who's up 4-2 here in the 141-pound weight class.
With that takedown, he's also erased the riding time. So now Tsirtsis would need an escape and a takedown to win, or a reversal to tie. And he's on his belly with his face on the mat, and he can't move. 1 minute to go in the match. Rivera's got his arm buried in his back. Still working on trying to turn him. Now Tsirtsis up to his knees. Rivera in control here. He wants to keep that arm across his back in this situation. He's still trying to work a turn here. Now Tsirtsis is unable to do anything until he gets that arm down. He doesn't want to get thrown to his back. Chance for an escape, he's up and out. So here we go, 20 seconds to go. Tsirtsis needs a takedown. He's in on another attempt. Rivera trying to hang on, 10 seconds. Tsirtsis back in on another leg attempt, 4 seconds to go. And Rivera has done it again. He has had another upset. Manuel Rivera.
Manuel Rivera wins it 4-3, gets a standing ovation from the crowd here at Williams Arena. And the Minnesota Golden Gophers extend their lead over Iowa 7-3.
Here's his takedown here. Rivera in on the leg. Now it looked like right here he was in trouble, but he gets his hands locked right there, and that gives him enough leverage to kind of dump Tsirtsis to his side. And once he got to that position, then he trapped that arm, and he kept that arm trapped for almost a good minute, and Tsirtsis could do nothing to get away.
Here we are, the one we talked about, Dustin Schlatter taking on Eustice. And Eustice, a native of Minnesota from Blue Earth in the southern part of the state.
Number 1 versus number 2, both of these wrestlers beat the reigning national champion, Zach Esposito from Oklahoma State. Both of these guys have beat him. And now Esposito has dropped in the rankings. These two guys are now number 1 and number 2. Eustice is yet to lose a match this year, 15-0. Dustin Schlatter comes in 27-1. In his one loss, he's revenged. He lost an early match in the year 1-0, came back, beat that same opponent 8-3. So Dustin is on pace right now, if he could win this match, to be the number 1 ranked wrestler at 149 as just a freshman.
Not a bad first year of college.
Eustice has been around the block. He's been wrestling for Iowa now he's now in his senior year. He's a very established wrestler, former Blue Earth wrestler. He's got some fans here in Minnesota, even though being from Iowa. Ty has been known in his first couple of years at Iowa as being a little bit more defensive, and hadn't brought a lot of offense, but he's really opened up this season and shown a lot of leg attacks, and that's part of the reason why he's number 1 ranked guy now. He's got more offense this year than he's had in the past couple of years.
So we're at 149 here. Minnesota leading 7-3 on the team scoreboard over Iowa.
Watch Dustin to try and use a duck on her. He'll do it to both sides on Eustice, and he's going to try and establish some sort of control on Eustace's arms. Right now, I see Dustin hanging on Eustice's head. Maybe he's trying to wear him out, trying to open him up a little bit for later in the match. Dustin is extremely explosive. One of the quickest guys I've seen wrestle, and he is dangerous at all times. Eustice will have to be very careful when he reaches and attacks. Both guys feeling each other out in this first period, kind of feeling how strong is this guy? Is this guy really strong and feeling positions? Both guys yet to really commit to any sort of takedown here early. Which, just like any sporting event, it helps build the momentum toward the third period as the guys get more wore down and the match stays close. And then there's an explosion from Schlatter, easily defended by Eustice. Just 10 seconds here in the first period. No advantage for either wrestler in this first period.
The time looks like it'll run out on this one with no score after the first period. Looks like Eustice has maybe a little blood.
Dustin Schlatter was the only one to hit a knee in that period. Ty had a couple of what I call reach shots, but not a real full commitment. Never really put himself in danger.
Slight delay before the second period, no score.
Ty had a little bit of bloody nose. They use a cotton ball, plug that up, and let's continue wrestling. Dustin with a nice return to the mat on that stand-up by Eustice, but now going to work on a hard ride. Buried his right, he's got Eustice's arm buried underneath his chest, so now Eustice building back to his base. Dustin trying to keep him off balance. At the college level, at the Division I level, it's sometimes hard to explain. The best wrestlers in the country will almost always take down. And they go, well, wouldn't you be you'd have an advantage if you're on top. Well, they've become so great at getting away in the tactics that they use to get away that it's almost an automatic point most of the time for them. And you see Ty Eustice quick to his feet this time. Schlatter returns him to the mat again, but that's why they tend to choose the down position. Now in a situation where a match might be close, like this one may be,
get a whistle there as they're
going down first in the first period. You have a little bit more energy than you may have in the second. So taking a chance to go down first, you got more energy. It's a little bit easier to get away.
Schlatter building that riding time up to 52 seconds. They'll have a chance to get it over that 1 minute mark here.
Eustice up. Dustin Schlatter showing tremendous strength in lifting Eustice up and putting him back to the mat without allowing him to get an escape. And now he's got his arm buried again. Ty Eustice's got his arm buried again down underneath his body, and you can't get away until he clears his arms. You see him trying to grab his hands under there to clear that arm. Now he's got it cleared. Now he can get an opportunity to get away. No warnings on either wrestling so far for stalling. Dustin's got to be careful. If the official doesn't feel that you're actually trying to turn and you're just trying to ride, you could be called for stalling. Eustice with a chance for an escape here, not quite out yet. Schlatter still hanging on to the ankle. Now Dustin's going to have to improve this position or he's going to get warned for stalling. And there he's improving, building back up. He can't lock his hands here. And the clock is going to run down. And Dustin Schlatter has made a mark in the second period, keeping Ty Eustice down for 2 minutes.
2 minutes exactly on the riding time. 2 more minutes for these two to wrestle on the mat in the third period in the 149-pound weight class.
Ty Eustice is not even going to make an effort. He's not even going to make an attempt to keep Schlatter down. He knows he's now behind in the match. Schlatter with a 1-point escape, and he's got riding time that looks like it's almost a for sure point as the clock runs. The longer the time goes, Schlatter in on a single. He's got a chance to score here. still working on the leg. No points yet. Eustice, great defense. Takedown! Dustin Schlatter has just taken down the #1 ranked wrestler in the country.
Dustin up 3-0 with 1:15 to go in the third period. Plenty of time on the riding time clock as he takes on Eustice, #1 at 149.
Eustice scores his first point of the match. It comes in the way of an escape. He's down 3-1. Schlatter is guaranteed a riding time point at this point in the match, so it's technically 4-1 at this point. So Eustice would need a takedown, possible near fall, or have to get 2 takedowns with the takedown, escape, takedown. He's in a world of trouble right now. Schlatter's in control of this match. 45 seconds to go. A year ago today, Dustin Schlatter was wrestling in high school.
It's amazing. Now he's has a chance to beat the #1 ranked wrestler in the entire country.
He has tremendous offense. Some of the best offense people have seen in a long time at this weight class. Now he's being warned for stalling, which is probably the correct call, but he's in control of the match and he doesn't have to score again. 14 seconds to go. He's just got to position wrestle for these last 14 seconds, and he's going to pull off another huge upset. He should hold his ground here a little bit better here in these last 10 seconds.
5 seconds to go. You think the fans know what's going to happen? On their feet.
No points.
Dustin Schlatter wants everybody to stand up. He just beat the #1 wrestler in the country at 149 points. Eustice goes down, and Minnesota increases its lead. Now 10-3 over Iowa.
Here comes the replay of Dustin Schlatter here. You see Eustice trying to work on his hands on the bottom, but gets tripped to the side. Dustin scores the takedown, ices the match, and you can see the crowd get up on their feet on that takedown. Unbelievable performance.
Joe Johnston for Iowa and CP Schlatter, Dustin's brother, going for Minnesota. 157 pounds here at Williams Arena.
CP comes out fired up.
And how much has the energy in this building just picked up?
They pulled off an upset at Oklahoma State because guys got on a roll. It started out with Rivera, and he's done it again. He's electrified this team. And then Dustin with another upset, and now CP, who was beaten by Joe Johnston last year, comes out and says, I'm going to get after you right away, and scores a takedown.
CP got a win on Friday night against Northwestern, 9-4 decision over Greg Hagel from Northwestern. He too trying to make it a perfect weekend.
Joe Johnston is a very good wrestler, and he's very powerful, and I cannot tell you how strong CP is to have to move him around and get that early takedown. He was all over Johnston in the first 30 seconds. But it's a long match. It's a 7-minute battle. Lots of things can happen, but right now CP up early. He was beat twice last year by Joe Johnston. One time 8-5 in the Big Tens, and then again at the NCAA's 5-3. No points again. CP building riding time. He's up to 58 seconds. Early control of this one.
Riding time does hit that 1 minute mark.
Joe Johnston up early. CP got a little too aggressive there, and Johnston counters with the takedown. So now tides have turned a little bit. 3-3. I think CP maybe lacked a little respect for Johnston's power there. Left his hand high and got thrown by and gave up a pretty easy takedown there. and didn't make Johnston go through any of the work that sometimes you have to go through to get a takedown. And he won't make that mistake again. 2-3.
CP's leg heavily wrapped there, his knee, his left knee. How much does it affect the guy, or does it affect him at all?
It'll play a factor. Not only does it, you've obviously got a slight injury there that he's wrestling with tonight, but your leg is not getting full circulation as it's taped like that, and it'll get wore down a little bit more than it normally would in a match. Another shot attempt by CP, in on the leg, trying to finish, and he does! Look at this! Off an underhook this time for CP to a single. Drives him out of bounds. CP uses underhook to get to the leg, and then right here he finishes across the backside of the legs and scores a quick takedown on Johnston. Johnston trying to build for an escape here at the end of this first period. Boy, this is a lot of points for these two guys to be scoring early in a match. We'll see how that affects the end of the match and how much energy they're going to have toward the end. Iowa, a few years ago, under the Dan Gable reign, would have been considered the best conditioned team in the country. I don't think that they can claim that in this era of wrestling. Since Gable has left, there's been teams that have caught them and even passed them on the conditioning level, and they're no longer feared for that aspect of wrestling like they once were. They're still great athletes, great conditioned, great trained, but not like back when Gable was coaching, when everybody feared the third period with Iowa. They don't carry that anymore, and it's a big difference between Iowa wrestling under Gable and Iowa wrestling under Jimmy Zaleski.
And Dan Gable in the house tonight. Hope to hear from him later on.
And maybe we could ask Dan at the break about, what's the biggest change that he's seen in the Iowa wrestling program since he's left. Johnston was up, got an escape, 5-4. He's chosen the down position, thinking that he'll get an escape and tie the match on the scoreboard, although CP does and has established riding time.
Riding time at 1:42 in favor of CP. 5-5 now tied up here in the second period.
CP 2 takedowns and escape. Johnston 1 takedown and 3 escapes. So lots of action, lots of points in the first period. In the second period, 1:30 to go. CP has made all the real risks in this match. He's taken all the shots. He's hit his knee the most. Johnston's really made no effort to attack a leg at this point in the match. He got a throw by off a shot of CP's, but no real attempts yet so far in this match. Tries to use that underhook to a single again. Johnston blocks this time.
One.
60 seconds remaining in the second period. 5-5 in our 157-pound weight class. CP Schlatter from Minnesota, Joe Johnston going for Iowa.
Boy, Joe Johnston hasn't really shown a lot of offense in this match. He's really just kind of blocked off. He's not really made any attempts at attack. Here's a real shot by Johnston. He shows his power. Just as I was saying it, he goes after it and scores. The coaches in Iowa are probably saying to themselves, why haven't you done that earlier in the match?
30 seconds in the period.
30 seconds. CP's going to try and save some of this riding time by getting an escape here. Johnston's going to try and hang on. I know that Joe Johnston's well-conditioned athlete. Here's Johnston's first attempt in the match. He used it to a high crotch, and then he just dumps CP down. CP can do nothing to stop that one. Once that leg was up, it was over.
10 seconds to go in this period.
Big opportunity for CP to get a point here. He needs a point in this period. 5 seconds to go. He's got to try and score here. An escape there would have been a big factor because CP could go down in the third period, score an escape and tie the match. but he didn't get the escape, so now he's down 2. He's down 7-5. He's now lost his riding time advantage. He's only at 58 seconds of riding time. So he's going to need to get an escape and a takedown to take the lead in this match.
You hear the call from the bench, get an escape and build your riding time.
Looks like he's going to be up and out here for an escape. Now, here's what we were talking about, the conditioning factor. CP started real fast. Had a couple shots early. Johnston was stronger in the second period as it went on. He's still hustling back to the center. Here's the gut check time, third period, 1-point match. CP has used his underhook to a shot a couple times. Tries to shoot through Johnston's underhook. You see Joe Johnston push CP all the way off the mat. He seems to be coming forward more, but still not attacking the legs. CP tried to use his underhook. Notice his left arm, he digs inside the armpit of his opponent. Tries to lift that up and then shoot to a single. Johnston's blocking that. 50 seconds to go. CP right now is in major jeopardy of getting called for stalling at this point in the match. He's backed off twice now, going off bounds. If he goes out of bounds again and doesn't hold his ground, he will get called for stalling. He's got to make an attempt. He's behind in this match. 40 seconds to go. Johnston with the shot on the legs. CP's legs are in. That's going to be points. What a turn of events. It looked like Joe Johnston was going to score a takedown, and then it looked like it was going to be going out of bounds. He relaxes on the edge. CP hooks his leg and scores a takedown. Watch right here. He's on a shot. He's driving him off the mat. And watch him right here. He just relaxes for a second. CP steps over, and his feet are inbounds. Takedown. 25 seconds to go. CP's trying to ride him out. He's got to work up off that leg. CP on his back! He's got him on his back! He's got near fall! CP is about to pull up another upset! The Schlatter brothers! 5 seconds! He's done it!
And he's fired up. He'll get the bonus points for the riding time. The crowd lets him hear about it, and Minnesota is on fire here tonight. Minnesota 13, Iowa 3. We'll have our intermission. Dan Gable was here earlier today. We'll hear from him, the wrestling legend on FSN North.
Right here on Williams Arena for 6 weeks, this is where the 72 Olympic freestyle team trained, right here. In fact, I don't know if you remember the guy, he weighed 450 pounds named Chris Taylor. Me and him wrestled right here, right in this corner. I still got a broken rib from that wrestling, but I also remember him looking up at the lights a little bit, so.
The legend Dan Gable here at Williams Arena, 13-3 at our intermission. Minnesota leading Iowa on FSN North. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ron Johnson, my partner Will Short. We're also joined by the legendary man from wrestling, Dan Gable. How about some more from that story, the 72 Olympics here? You got the broken ribbon. Can you share more about that story with us?
Well, this team really wasn't supposed to do that good. You know, I was favored to win, but we ended up having 6 medals. I believe 3 golds, 2 silvers, and a bronze. And I'll tell you what, or something like that, but the announcer was Frank Gifford, and Frank Gifford really was put on wrestling at that time. This was his first time out for announcing, and they said, well, you probably won't have to work much. But he was there, and he really got a lot of time in, and he said it started his career. So he congratulates the freestyle committee for a wrestling team for being able to get him off to a great start.
Dan, you're becoming an ambassador for wrestling. Where do you see college wrestling right now and the state of what's going on in wrestling right now?
We're the only sport that actually is adding programs that was in trouble for a while as far as dropping them. We've actually added 39 programs in the last couple of years, and we've just added 3 or 4 recently. So, we're working hard. We have full-time people, but we just have so many numbers at the high school level. I don't think a lot of people realize that. I've done some interviews where there's been some pretty big radio stations that thought they knew wrestling, but they thought it was like, New York and Ohio and Pennsylvania, maybe 7 or 8 states. But when I told them they were in 49 of the 51 state associations across America, they couldn't believe it, and they didn't realize there was 250,000, and the only slots that they have to go is 7,500 slots, and that's pretty unbelievable. And there's some whole states that really don't have an opportunity. In fact, the federal government kind of they had some interpretations that took away college wrestling and gymnastics and some of the men's non-revenue sports. But now the state legislatures are actually giving money to institutions to start programs to help make sure there's opportunities for boys as well as opportunities for women.
That's awesome. What do you think of the Iowa program now compared to when you were there? What do you see as different, or do you think things are still the same, or just different type of athlete?
Well, obviously, things aren't exactly the same just because they're not on top as much. But it's a little more difficult. There's a lot of people out there that are really shooting. Oklahoma State is kind of proving that wrong, because they've won 3 times in a row. But right when they think they're going to win 4, they get knocked off by Minnesota. And I'm proud to be a part of that with Coach Robinson and with the Iowa program here with Coach Zaleski, both having wrestled or coached with me. But Iowa's really in a situation where they're looking and they're not happy with where they're at, and they want to move up. So as long as coaches aren't satisfied with what's going on when you're not in a contention for a national title, that's pretty good. But the state of Iowa also has had some pretty other good institutions like Iowa State, where I wrestled, and I don't think they're real happy right now either.
All right, Dan Gabe, the legend from wrestling, we appreciate you joining us and taking out the time to address the fans and teach us all a little bit about the history of wrestling.
Well, I'm going to add to that history in the future as well. Thank you.
All right, that's our intermission report. It's 13-3 with Minnesota leading Iowa on FSN North. Minnesota 13, Iowa 3 here. Go for Wrestling on FSN North with Will Short. I'm Ron Johnson. 5 more matches to go, and we start at 165. Matt Nagel, number 10 in the country, taking on Luedke for Iowa.
Well, Matt Nagel did something that he's not normally known for doing. He came out, took a shot on him right away, and took him down. Matt is one of those guys who's been a very solid defensive wrestler and can wrestle with a lot of guys and keep matches close, but hasn't been known for his offense. But right here, he comes out, and this Gopher team is believing in themselves. They're coming out, they're offensive, they're aggressive. They're not going to stand there and do nothing. They're going to attack you, and that's leading to points, and that's leading to upsets.
Well, you're saying they believe in themselves. I'm sure now a lot of other people are starting to believe in them as well.
Matt was given a quick warning there. Official felt that he wasn't trying to go for a pin and was just riding. He's wrestling Luedke. Comes in 12-7 record. Nagel, of course, is ranked number 10 in the country. He's got to be favored in this match, and they may be thinking about trying to go for bonus points here with Matt. Matt, 91 career wins at the University of Minnesota. He's probably hoping he'll be up over 100 by the end of this season, and hopefully going home with another All-American honor, and hope maybe even a national title.
Wouldn't be a bad way to end out the season. End out a career for the senior from Frazee, Minnesota. First time these two wrestlers have met.
Let's see if Nagel will go in and take another offensive shot here, and how aggressive he's going to stay in this match. There's a kind of half-reach attempt. He's going to lock him upstairs. Luedke better watch out up there. Nagel into another scoring situation. He's got him locked. Luedke trying to defend. He's got to be careful here. Takes him down. another offensive shot that led to a bear hug that put Luedke down. 4-1 Nagel.
The riding time up over a minute at 1:10 in favor of Nagel.
Luedke just clamming up down there, just getting buried by Nagel. Can't even build himself up to his base. I think his face shows it all right now. I got nowhere to go.
30 seconds in the period.
30 seconds to go in the first period, 4-1. Matt Nagel up in 165 over Eric Luedke from Iowa. The Gophers on the team scoreboard up by 10 at 13-3.
Nagel all over Luedke here. Now I got him bellied out again. Just going to work on him. Matt Nagel dominating the first period. 4-1, 2 takedowns, and over 2 minutes of riding time.
Minnesota.
Get a good look at Nagel's arms there. I don't think you can do much better than that. He's a well-built, well-trained athlete. These guys spend hours and hours conditioning, lifting weights, training, working on their craft, the technical aspects of the sport. It's hours and hours of discipline that lead to the performances that you see in front of you today.
The training is something else that's amazing to me because you have to find a balance. You have to be obviously strong, well put together, built with a lot of muscle, but you also have to have a lot of endurance and you know, those kind of things too. So there's so many things go into a wrestler that just amaze me as far as how they're able to put themselves together physically.
And these guys they build themselves. It's not something that just happens. I mean, some of these wrestlers that you see have been given gifts, you know, by nature, but a lot of these guys have built their bodies to look the way they look through the sport of wrestling. And it's a tremendous testament to the sport, the kind of athletes that it builds. And if you're a youngster out there watching, this is what you want to look like. Take a look at Matt Nagel. He's built the way you want to look. Look at the arms, small waist, strength, conditioning. And if you're a Gopher right now, a little bit of attitude.
Always helps.
1 minute remaining in the period.
1 minute to go here in the second period, 5-1. Matt Nagel up over Eric Luedke from Iowa. This is our 6th match of the day.
No points here. Nagel 147 of riding time. See if Nagel will attack him again. There's another shot by Eric Luedke. He's making a couple attempts here. No response yet from Nagel.
Thirty seconds in the
Goes
period.
down. Nagel trying to wear on Luedke here in this period. Pressuring him down, making him carry his weight, put pressure on his back and his head. Another shot. Nagel's got to take advantage of this one.
Five seconds to go in the second period. 5-1 lead for Nagel as we will head to the final period in the 165-pound match here from Williams Arena. Iowa taking on Minnesota. The Gophers come in number 1 in the country. Iowa at 6. And Minnesota opened the Big Ten schedule on Friday with a win over Northwestern, looking to make it a perfect weekend in the Big Ten.
I think coming into the year, you would have looked at Iowa and Minnesota as possible Big Ten champions, but right now, Minnesota's got to be looking at the favorite coming into the Big Ten season, dual meets, to be the favorite to win it all. They're certainly not hurting themselves tonight.
5-2 now. As Luedke gets another point. The trails by 3 in the third period. The riding time advantage all the way to Nagel at 2:10 right now. As the clock ticks down, Nagel guarantees himself at least a minute of riding time.
Real nice flurry there from both wrestlers. Nagel awarded 2. Lucky tried to counter, tried to do kind of a flip over.
1 minute remaining in the period.
They go off the mat here, a little break, 7-3 Nagel. There you see Tim Hartung, 2-time NCAA champion for the University of Minnesota, and was stolen by the Iowa Hawkeyes, now an assistant coach down there at Iowa. We wish him the best. Hartung was a great wrestler and competed well for the University of Minnesota.
Has himself a banner hanging up right here in the middle of the arena.
Yes, he does.
30 seconds to go here in the match. 7-3, Matt Nagel on top.
.20 seconds to go here. Nagel just in control of this match from start to finish. He had started it off with a quick takedown. I will give Luedke a little bit credit here. He's avoiding a major decision. There's Tim Hartung's banner. You see the titles that he's won there on the banner. Probably not the homecoming he wanted, though.
Definitely not as time runs down here in the 165-pound weight class, and Matt Nagel will have to wait 1.6 seconds to finish this one off.
Nagel dominated the match from start to finish. Give Eric Luedke from Iowa a little bit of credit, avoiding a major decision, but Nagel getting it done for the Gophers, and their roll continues.
Matt Nagel becomes the 5th consecutive Gopher to win here after Iowa won the first match. It's been all Minnesota from there, 16-3 over Iowa in the border brawl here from Williams Arena. Our next match brings us to the 174-pound weight class. Mark Perry ranked 4th, just a sophomore, 9-2 overall against Gabriel Dretsch. You see the record at 21-7. He's also a sophomore at number 8. So again, if you look at the rankings, as far as they go, this one favors Iowa, but that hasn't meant a whole lot so far here today.
With this Gopher team, it doesn't mean much at all. Mark Perry is, I think, the most offensive Iowa wrestler and brings the most to the table when it comes to their team and things that he can do on the mat. He has all kinds of stuff. He's been a little bit banged up this year, missed a couple matches. That's why he's only wrestled 11 matches. But he's very dangerous and very capable, and he will attack you. He's on Dretsch's leg right away here, and there's 2 points.
Dretsch, one of the wrestlers, a part of the big win over Oklahoma State at the National Duels last week, in which propelled Minnesota to the #1 ranking in the country.
He beat Brandon Mason. Brandon Mason actually was not as ranked as high as him, but Mason had beaten Dretsch in their only meeting before. Look at this. Dretsch says, you know what? I'm not done yet. We're up. We want to get a reversal here and tie this match up. 2-2.
Jacob Klein from Nebraska, who was ranked 5th at the time he wrestled Dretsch, one of Gabriel's victims as well this year.
Gabriel Dretsch has a little bit of different style of wrestling that he uses, but he's definitely tough on top. And you see Perry here. He can do some things as well, and now he gets a reversal.
Four to 2 with Mark Perry, the early lead here.
Perry in the top position. You see these two guys know what they're doing, and they're ready to scrap. Perry, he looks like he's going to be willing to try anything out there when he's wrestling, but he's very controlled in what he's doing. Going to work on a high half and a leg right here on Dretsch. The coaching staff telling Dretsch not to roll around with Perry. Don't get caught. Perry's very dangerous. He can wrestle in all positions and can get you in situations where you can get pinned real quick. So Dretsch has got to be real controlled when he wrestles Perry. He's done a fine job so far. 4-2 in favor of Perry. Perry is building riding time, however. Perry looking to a leg to a cradle here. Perry trying to work some sort of leg turn here. In control of Dretsch's lower half, which is not allowing Dretsch to build a base or stand up.
60 seconds to go in the first period. 4-2. Mark Perry with the lead over Gabriel Dretsch, 174-pound weight class. The Gophers up 16-3 here in the border battle, Iowa and Minnesota from Williams Arena with 45 seconds to go in this one.
Perry just all over Dretsch with his legs. Dretsch is going to have a tough decision when he gets his choice. I don't know that he's going to go back underneath Perry. He's not really even close right now at getting away.
30 seconds in period.
Perry trying to use a leg turk, that's what they call this in wrestling, but unable to power Dretsch's hip over, so he can't work a turn. Not a lot of action. Doesn't look real good, but for Mark Perry, it creates results.
And right now, Iowa just trying to put some kind of skid on this slide they're taking here. Minnesota has won the last 5 matches.
After one period, Perry for Dretsch 2. Advantage time 1 minute 39 seconds, Iowa.
174-pound weight class here, 4-2 with Mark Perry over Gabriel Dretsch. Roger Kish going for Minnesota in the 184-pound weight class after this against Paul Bradley, another All-American wrestler.
Another big anticipated match here in this dual meet, border brawl as they call it. They do have a belt that they award the team that wins the border brawl, and the governor's belt, as they call it. And the team that wins will take that belt home, and the other team will have to wait till next year to try and get it back.
So does each guy get to wear it for a little bit, or it's like the Stanley Cup where one guy gets to travel around with it for a while, or
I think
they just hang it up somewhere?
I think they hang it right down in the wrestling room every day so they can all just admire what they've done. Gabe Dretsch showing some power here, keeping Perry sprawled out on his belly. Perry unable to get away. Perry up 4-2. He does have 1 minute and 3 seconds of riding time, but if he doesn't get away quickly, Dretsch is going to race riding time. And that is exactly what he's done. Perry having a little trouble here with Dretsch on bottom. Having trouble finding a way out.
Perry's riding time now ticking under 40 seconds, coming up on 35.
I'll tell you, I think Dretsch, if he can keep him down for the rest of this period, is gonna give himself a chance here in this match. It's gonna be important for him to ride for the next 49 seconds hard. Perry tries a quick switch. So far, Perry's been one move, stop, get planted on his belly, but not this time. He's up to his feet. Dretsch through the crotch, picks him up, steps, tries for a leg turn, but Perry defends that, but here he is again, found himself back on the bottom.
30 seconds in the period.
Gabriel Dretsch riding very hard, very physical. I don't know if Perry's even got another attempt in this period and an escape.
The riding time switches sides now. Over to Dretsch.
Perry trying to build to his feet. 11 seconds. Now the decision that's going to be an important one is this third period. Do they put Gabe Dretsch down again, or do they go neutral, take down to tie? And Coach Russell, the assistant coach. Watch Gabe Dretsch's hands comes through the legs and hooks right there, lifts it up, and he tried to step through and hook that leg, but couldn't quite do it. If he would have, he might have had a leg turk situation. Gabe Dretsch has chose the neutral position here in the third period. He's going to need a takedown to tie. You see Perry he comes at you from all directions. What he's got to do, Dretsch has got to get a hold of Perry. He's got to wrestle Perry in close. He doesn't want to be far away from Perry. He's got so much movement. He can attack you from so many angles. Perry, there's a low single shot. Oh, situation. Nobody's got anything yet. Dretsch has got to get his head underneath that leg, otherwise he's going to get two. Yeah, there it is. The unorthodox style of Mr. Perry has got it done and scores another takedown. What a flurry.
Now he's up 6-2, 60 seconds to go here in the third period.
Here's the flurry. It's off a single leg takedown. Now Dretsch tries to hook here, can't do it. That would have got a takedown. Now Perry right here in trouble. Looks like he's going to go. Now Dretsch needed to hang on to that hand right there. You see he's trying to hang on to it, but he lost it, and when he lost it, that's what resulted in the takedown for Perry. Perry, I think we're going to see a lot of this for the next 42 seconds. Gabe has had trouble getting away in the first period, and it seems like Perry has a big advantage here on top.
Up 6-2, 30 seconds to go. Dretsch needs a rally, down 4.
Perry all over Dretsch in this match. 13 seconds to go, 6-2 lead. There will not be a riding time point awarded in this match. But credit to Mark Perry, who wrestled a very solid match. Showed what he can do and why he's the number 4 ranked wrestler in the country.
6-2 win for Mark Perry over Gabriel Dretsch. The first win for Iowa today since Lucas Magnani won the 125-pound weight class. So that pulls the score back to within 10. It's 16-6. Minnesota over Iowa. 184 pounds is up next. Roger Kish goes for the Golden Gophers. Paul Bradley, ranked number 6. He's a senior with a 7-2 record overall. Goes for the Hawkeyes.
And for the Gophers, ranked number 9.
Not a bad list, and all those guys, Will, are in this building today.
Bradley beat Kish last year 5-1 at the Big Tens, and what they consider a pretty dominant performance. Kish is going to need to get after Bradley here and establish himself early in this match. Roger with the first attempt in this one for a little shuck to a single, couldn't quite get it in. Pull that leg in. Talking to the coaching staff from the U, they'd really like to see Roger win this one and start to solidify himself as one of those top guys in the country. He's had some good wins. He's on the real close to being one of the top guys in the country, but he needs some breakthrough wins here.
Yeah, he's won 10 of his last 11. He had a perfect day at the National Duels. We went 4-0.
We did the match earlier against Iowa State where he lost to Kurt Backus, but he came back at the National Duels and beat Kurt Backus. So a little bit of a roll, a little bit of momentum for Roger here. Now this is the next step right here. This is the guy he's got to go to, beat Paul Bradley and put himself in the top 5.
Scoreless through our first minute of the first period.
Bradley real strong in his stance and his positioning, although he doesn't seem to put a lot of pressure on Kish so far in this period. Kish got the leg, got his feet still in, trying to hang on. Now, in some circles of wrestling, they might call that fleeing the mat. If you go off the mat to avoid being scored on, some officials will say, now here's Kish trying to keep his feet in here, okay? And then the crawl off, some people might say that's a point. You should be awarded a point for fleeing the mat. Now, Mr. Tan, our official today, didn't feel that way, and so we stay at 0-0.
What's the difference?
Well, I think you just saw fleeing the mat. there is a difference.
You did what you did.
When action takes you off the mat, just in the action, then you're off the mat. If you go off the mat to avoid being scored on, then that is fleeing, and I think that's what happened there. But, you know, official to make that call, it's kind of one of those things that it's real judgmental on whether it was the action carried him out or did he flee to avoid being scored on.
45 seconds to go here in the 184-pound weight class. Roger Kish going for the Gophers, ranked number 9. Paul Bradley is number 6. No score so far with 35 seconds to go.
30 seconds in the period.
Roger got another key victory in the Oklahoma State duel, beat Blackman. There's Kish on a shot. Chance to score here at the end of the period. Trying to pull him back on. Trying to get his feet back in. No points yet. Kish trying to use that edge. 10 seconds. Pulls him back in. 2 points. Roger Kish, you gotta like how that went. I tell you, Paul Bradley ran to the edge again. Tried to get off the mat again to avoid being taken down, but Kish said no.
He said, not this time.
Not this time.
Got me last time, but not this time. He picks up the first points of the matchup, 2-0, as time will tick down here in the first period. Roger Kish takes a 2-0 lead. We got a replay, Will.
You see Roger, he's going to hit a double leg. It starts off where he's going to shoot to 2 legs. That's where he's going to shoot 2 legs. And now here's Bradley. He's going to try and crawl for the edge. He reaches out. Once he secures that foot, they're going to award 2 points every time. And Bradley, if you're the Hawkeye coach right now, you're not happy with what he's done in the first period. Hadn't really pressured Kish, not really attacking him. No offensive attempts from Paul Bradley, who's a higher ranked wrestler here. Kish took both shot attempts. I tell you what, you got to like the way Roger Kish has wrestled that first period.
Paul Bradley, we saw a shot up getting some attention over. He's already got his head wrapped up. Looks like he's got a cut over his eye, or maybe his left eye. It looks like both eyes.
I think
it looks like he's pretty beaten up.
He's got some cuts. He's banged up. Some of these guys will get banged up in the sport of wrestling. There's heads and elbows and knees, and they bang, and sometimes you take some shots. Kish up 2-0, chooses the down position. Going to try and work himself out. Paul Bradley trying to keep pressure on his arms, but Kish is up and away. They might have to stop his skin. Bradley's bleeding pretty good from the forehead. And I think they're going to... Oh, another shot by Kish! He's got a chance to score here. Tries a dump. He's got it up high now. Now he's got to trip that foot out. Bradley showing good balance here. Good coordination on one foot. Trying to put his foot down. Kish trying to step and reach. No points yet. Still trying to score. Clears it back out again. He's got it up high. Trips out. Bradley picks up. Tough situation here. Bradley crafty on picking up that ankle. I tell you what, that's a tremendous job by Paul Bradley right there, avoiding that takedown.
And Bradley will get more attention to his bleeding. He's bleeding all over his forehead, his nose.
Boy, I tell you what, this is an awesome shot that you're going to see here in this replay coming up from Roger Kish. He takes a nice single leg. He set it up off of Bradley's shot. And from there, it got to be a great flurry, and Paul Bradley showed some great athletic ability in this series. Here's the shot. He gets in on the leg. He picks it up high. Now, right here, it looked like we're going to get 2, but look at this. Look at that ankle right there. Paul Bradley reaches down, pulls it up, and if you can't quite see in the replay, Kish's knee is bent all the way backwards. And you can see that. Okay, that's a man sport.
Bradley all patched up for now and back out with 50 seconds to go in the second period. Trailing 3-0.
45. Offense.
I think so far in this dual meet, the Gophers have pulled off a couple big wins. I think I think Dustin Schlatter, I think we thought he might beat Eustice, just the way he wrestles in the offense that he brings to the table. Rivera was a huge upset, but you know, it's 19-12. This is one that I think Iowa walked into this duel going, well, we're going to win at this weight class. We're going to win at 184. Bradley's going to beat Kish. And this would be I think this would close the deal on Iowa, and they would say we're a ways away from the Minnesota Gophers at this point in the season.
Couple of upsets already today as far as the rankings go.
Bradley, I don't know how much the blood and the time on his face is affecting his performance today, but he showed absolutely no offense at this point in the match. I mean, he's made no attacks, no real legitimate shots on Roger Kish. He came out bandaged up. It could be affecting his performance, but really hasn't shown much at this point. You see Jay Robinson giving Kish some advice on how to finish that single leg next time and not lose that takedown. That would have been a big takedown. That would have really got him off to a lead that probably would not get surmounted at this point. But you know, Bradley's going to go down here in the third period. If he gets an escape, it's going to be one takedown match. See Bradley here, he's going to Kish's face, but just trying to avoid contact. He might be worried a little bit about his head there. Bradley went down. This is from the down position now. This is not a takedown. This is not a scoring position for Kish. Still working on riding time here. Bradley still trying to build an escape. Kish doing a good job of keeping him down. Rogers really worked the edge of the mat well in this match.
3-0 Kish with 1:25 to go in the match, leading Paul Bradley. Bradley came in number 6. Roger Kish ranked number 9 in the 184-pound weight class. 16-6 Minnesota leading on the team scoreboard. Still 2 more matches to come, the 197-pound weight class and then the heavyweights.
Kish doing a good job keeping Bradley down, trying to break him here. He's being pushed on by his coaching staff right now to keep him down, wear him out. 1 minute to go in this match. Bradley flattened out on his belly. Now up to his knees. Trying to build to his feet. He's up and away. There you see NCAA champion Marty Morgan, been the assistant coach for a lot of years. You can tell he wants Kish to get this one. Kish probably been working out with Marty a lot in the room. Here's Bradley, a chance to tie the match here. That knee is going against the joint. It's going the wrong way right now. Kish doing a good job. I talked about that flexibility earlier, what an advantage it has. You see it right there. No points scored, 3-1 Kish, 18 seconds to go. Can he pull it off? Can he hold off Paul Bradley?
Ten seconds to go here, 3-1.
Kish in a little bit of a defensive mode here. 5 seconds here. He's up by 2. He doesn't have to come at him anymore. And he's done it. And another upset for the Golden Gophers.
Roger Kish wins it over Paul Bradley.
Getting it done.
3-1, Roger Kish, and Minnesota back in the win column. 19-6 over Iowa. 2 more matches to go here from Williams Arena on FSN North. Action here from Williams Arena. Minnesota 19, Iowa 6. It's the Border Brawl Gopher Wrestling on FSN North. We appreciate you taking out the time to join us. I'm Ron Johnson, my partner, Will Short.
Well, the dual meet is no longer in doubt. Iowa could pin at 97, pin at heavyweight, which I don't think is going to happen. But if they did, the most points that they can score as a team is 18. So the Gophers have won the dual meet at this point, but we still got action here to go. Dan Erekson for Iowa, Mitch Kuhlman for Minnesota. Kuhlman has really made some sacrifices for the Gophers this year, and they're really happy with the things that he's done. He only weighed in today at 180 pounds. Dan Erekson weighed in at a full 197, so he's giving his opponent today 17 pounds.
Now, besides the obvious weight difference, what other difference does that make being such a discrepancy?
Well, there's differences, good and bad. On Kuhlman's side, he's a little bit faster than his opponent. And I think because he's a little smaller guy, he may have a little bit more technique and skill, especially on top. Mitch is very good on top. So that allows him to do some things that maybe some of these bigger guys aren't used to seeing and wrestling against. However, he is at a big disadvantage in strength and power in the match. And that can be something that Erekson could use to his advantage if he can get on him. But right now, what he's doing right now, this is what Erekson needs to do. Get in on a leg, force Kuhlman to wrestle. Kuhlman! Try! Kuhlman with a chance! But not strong enough to hold Erekson on that, what they call an Olympic drop in some circles. Erekson shot a single. Thought he was going to have an easy takedown, but Kuhlman had enough power to flip him through, but not enough power to hold him. But he was awarded a takedown. That's one of those techniques that I'm talking about. Dan Erekson probably hasn't had that done to him at this weight class in a long time. A guy that athletic, that mobile enough to try and do an Olympic drop where you flip a guy over from a single leg position. But there it was. That's what Kuhlman brings to this weight class.
Kuhlman up early, 3-2. Plenty of action in the first 2 minutes.
1 minute in the period.
Erekson looked a little off balance on that last shot. Kuhlman doing a good job in this match. Now Mitch was awarded a takedown for this. It looks like Erekson's going to get an easy takedown, but here's the flip through, and right here they scored 2 points, but he could not hold him because Erekson rolled through. You saw where I showed he rolled through on that. Boy, it's surprising that they did score any points in that situation. Probably no wrestlers either had any real control in that situation, I don't think, but they awarded the points, and here we are at 3-2 in favor of Mitch Kuhlman.
24 seconds to go in the first period. The team scoreboard says Minnesota's up 19-6. With this one to go, and then the heavyweight match.
Kuhlman doing a nice job in the over-under position. He's fine here. He wants to wrestle in here. This slows Erekson down. Now, the other thing that may be to Kuhlman's advantage is he's a little bit better conditioned than his opponent. So the longer the match goes, the more tired Erekson gets, and the better chance Kuhlman has to score points. Okay, Kuhlman's discussion there with Joe Russell, one of the assistant coaches at the University of Minnesota. He's going to choose the down position. A little worried about that because he's a little bit smaller and worried about his power. Can he build up to an escape? Oh, in trouble here. He doesn't want to get his hands locked. Did a good job fighting that off. Erekson, you can see here the size difference. When he's on top of Kuhlman, he's got a lot more power here, I think. Kuhlman's got his arm trapped. Going against the joint there, you can see it. This is where Erekson's really got to take advantage of his power. Start to power Galver. He's taking that arm the wrong way. He can't go against the joint there, which he was trying to do there. So Mitch's got to do a good job here in this next. He gets a break. He got a stalemate. He's got a situation here where he's got a new start. He's got to keep his arms forward, build to his feet.
3-2 with 1:15 in the second period. Mitch Kuhlman with the lead over Dan Erekson, the freshman for Iowa.
Erekson with the leg in now. Kuhlman, oh, almost got leg turned there by Erekson. Now flattened out, you can see having trouble getting to his base. Oh, and now he's lost his arm again. See Erekson's got his arm buried behind him. Now trying to work what they call an arm bar series. Kuhlman just burying his shoulder down, trying to avoid being turned. Erekson trying to pull both arms back. Can't quite do it. Kuhlman wants to keep that shoulder of his down on that arm that's trapped on that side. If he can keep his shoulder down, he can avoid being turned, but he has no real chance of getting away here. Riding time. The assistant coach over there at the University of Minnesota, Joe Russell, may be regretting his decision to put Kuhlman down in that period.
Riding advantage at 2 minutes for Dan Erekson. So we'll go to the third period. 2 more minutes to go in this one, 3-2.
2 minutes riding time. Third period, 2 hard minutes.
Kuhlman out the advantage there, but the riding time, an extra point for Iowa.
Erekson up quick to his feet. Now Kuhlman does use his legs well on top for this weight class. But what he's going to have to do to get his legs in on Erekson, he's got to stop the first move. First move is that first thing that the guy in bottom does off the whistle. Mitch has got to stop that. Couldn't quite do it there. Erekson to his feet, but he returns him. Well, can he get a leg in? Erekson to his feet again. Kuhlman doing a good job of riding. He's erased 24 seconds of riding time. If he can get that riding time down, an escape will only tie for Erekson rather than giving him a lead. Erekson up again to his feet, and he's out. So Erekson does his job of preserving his riding time point. So now Kuhlman will need to score a takedown to win the match. I think this is where Mitch wanted to be. If you'd have said to him, you know, we'll give you 3-3 with 1 minute to go, a takedown to the side, this is not a bad place for him considering he's given away 17 pounds, because now just one thing, one quick move can win him the match.
1 minute to go in this one.
1 minute.
You can see Kuhlman trying to work into something here. Does he have one shot, one attempt, one movement in him left after giving up 17 pounds to Erekson? Clock's ticking, 42 seconds left. Kuhlman's going to need to make a move. Erekson with another shot attempt.
30 seconds.
Now mathematically the riding time.
There's Kuhlman's shot. There's one attempt. Trying to stay with the leg. Still working the out of bounds line. There was one shot attempt. He's got time for maybe one more chance. He's got to make it count this time. Ten seconds for Kuhlman. He's got to go. He's got to go. Erekson's just going to be too strong. Mitch tries a rethrow. Couldn't quite do it. Erekson wins and does his job for the Hawkeyes.
So Dan Erekson gets the win in the 197-pound weight class over Mitch Kuhlman. Iowa picks up 3 more points on the team scoreboard to make it 19-9 with the Gophers on top. Now it's time for the heavy. Konrad, with a little drama a couple years ago, needed a pin to win. They got it done. So the Gophers went for a 17-6 win back in February 15th of 2004 over Iowa.
Cole Connor's had some great wins already for the University of Minnesota. He's really become an outstanding heavyweight.
Cole Konrad and Matt Fields.
Matt Fields is a quality heavyweight. He's done a good job in the weight room, building his body at heavyweight Division I wrestling now. If you're under 250 pounds, you are going to struggle with some of these big heavyweights. Cole Konrad, all of 275. Got a chance for a score here on Fields, and he's got it done. An early takedown for the big man from the University of Minnesota.
You know, the dual match already decided, so this one just for fun here, right?
Well, I'm sure for Matt Fields, this isn't just for fun. And for Cole Konrad, wrestling is an interesting sport. Yes, they do keep team scores, but each individual has something to wrestle for every time they walk out on the mat. Cole is very strong on top.
Konrad 24-0 on the season. His winning streak is tied for 10th in school history. He also has a 29-match winning streak that was tied for 6th in school history. Steve Mocco actually broke that last year, and we know what happened this year when he took on Steve Mocco. I'm looking down the list here of most consecutive wins. We talked about Cole Konrad. At number 3, it says 36, a guy named Willie Short, 93-94.
Yeah. 36 wins in a row, huh? Konrad should move up there real quick. I don't see him losing real soon. There's only a couple heavyweights, I think, in the nation who could beat Konrad right now. And even though he did pin Mocco, he's going to have to deal with Mocco at the NCAA tournament. But he's not going to wrestle any of those heavyweights in the near future. I think he's going to be on a run for a while here.
And for him, you got to figure that momentum just got to keep building and building and building, and his confidence has to get bigger and bigger and bigger each time out.
And I think the one thing that the Gophers are really excited about is Colton and and they get to have him for another season.
And they don't come out early in wrestling. They stick around.
Well, we're talking a little bit about some other things because Matt Field hasn't given us much to talk about here in the first period. Cole took him down, and Fields has been down ever since and hasn't really even got to his knees since he was taken down in the first 15 seconds of this match. Fields can't even get his knees underneath him in this period. Cole using his legs, showing kind of all kinds of options out here.
And actually, I should update that. He's 25-0. So that makes his consecutive streak now at 25 in a row.
If you get a look over at the Hawkeye bench, it's a pretty disappointing performance so far for them, and they cannot be happy with this first period from Matt Fields. I mean, he has not moved off his belly since he was taken down early in this first period.
After one period,
We've been talking about this throughout the day, Will. Steve Mocco from Oklahoma State, Cole Konrad here from Minnesota, and this is how it ended.
Interestingly enough, when Cole put Mocco to his back, just something I see as a wrestling fan, a lot of people see, Mocco made no attempt to get off. He went to his back and he laid there. And to that tells me that, you know, he didn't care too much about his team enough to even try and get off his back. And of course, Konrad got the fall. Either way, the team would have won, whether he won by decision or won by a fall. But it was interesting to me. It was almost like Mocco was broke in that match. He was broke, and he was just tired of wrestling Cole at that point. And that is going to carry in Mocco's mind the next time they wrestle, because that doesn't go away.
And that also will carry in Cole's mind to know that he defeated him mentally, is kind of what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Mentally, Mocco, I think, is going to have a lot of issues with Cole the next time they wrestle. Cole up 4-0 here, in control of this match all the way. Matt Fields has made no real attempts to do anything so far in this match. Like to see if Cole could work another takedown here in this period. 1:14 to go in the second period.
It's like Matt Fields has some blood too.
Yeah, I don't think the officials seen the blood yet. They shouldn't allow it to continue to go.
1 minute remaining in the period.
It's Cole kind of making a kind of half attempt there, but follows with a good snap down attempt. Fields trying to just block everything off. You know, the fans here at the University of Minnesota have had a treat today. They've seen great action. They've had the legend Dan Gabe, who will go down in history right now, and only maybe John Smith or possibly, you could make a case that Jay is a top 5, but Cole, here's another takedown. But Dan Gabe is a true legend in the sport of wrestling, Division I wrestling, and probably the greatest, is the greatest wrestling coach of all time. right now in college wrestling. John Smith was going to try and make a case in his career down at Oklahoma State. And if Jay Robinson can put together a couple more national titles, but right now Dan is the greatest of all time, a legendary coach, a motivator, a mentor to so many athletes at the University of Iowa. Great to have him in the building today.
6-zip Cole Konrad, and he had a big takedown.
Here's his last takedown. It starts with a kind of a short leg attempt. Then he digs his underhook right there. Just keeps pressuring forward, and Fields just bails out and says, you know what? I don't want to end up like Stephen Mocco getting thrown to my back, so I'm just going to turn down and give him 2 points. Fields is actually bleeding from his ear here. You can see that right there.
He was over on the bench getting tended to. The trainer was trying to wipe his blood away. He kind of swatted the trainer away, went out to the center of the mat, and the trainers had to basically chase him down, have him take his helmet back off, try to clean up some of the blood. Take a look at Jay Robinson, who will get his 100th Big Ten win.
Here, I want to show you something here. This is called a cauliflower ear. That's what wrestlers get over time as in this sport. And some guys will get a surgery. Some guys might go and get it fixed. And then some guys wear them as a scar and a badge of honor.
Usually if you're in a crowd of athletes, it's not necessarily hard to figure out who the wrestlers are.
Cole Konrad throwing Fields down again. I don't think Matt Fields wants to wrestle Cole Konrad anymore. Here he is, same takedown as before, gets his hands locked right there. Once he got his hands locked, it was over, and Fields was lucky that they ran out of real estate or he would have been pinned.
I'm sure there's a lot of guys saying, I don't want to wrestle Cole Konrad anymore.
Cole snapping him down, lifting hard. Cole's trying to get after Fields here. Fields running for the edge again. Look at that! Oh, Fields' leg got bent back there. You don't ever want to see a wrestler get injured.
Fields screaming, grabbing that right leg. He's got some kind of wrap already on it.
He was just wearing a knee pad. It wasn't a wrap, but you saw when Cole hit that shot, Cole didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't an illegal shot or anything. It just kind of got the knee bent the wrong way right there in the corner. And I'm not sure Fields is going to get to it. Watch this knee right here when Cole takes the shot. He's stepping back. He's trying to get off the mat. And there, it gets bent back, and his foot gets caught on the mat right there. And it will be interesting to see if he can continue. Just gets his knee trapped here on the edge right there. It's underneath, and there you see it just gets rolled down. And that's probably not going to be good for Matt Fields.
That looks like a defensive lineman going into the quarterback.
Exactly.
The same kind of hit on that knee.
Kind of a weird situation with Konrad there.
Here we'll see the sportsmanship part of this.
Cole, I mean, in no way was out to injure Fields' leg there, but Fields is not going to be able to continue. Cole Konrad is going to be awarded an injury default decision. The team will be awarded 6 points. And the Gophers have handled the Iowa Hawkeyes, who came in as the number 7 team in the country. The Minnesota Golden Gophers are for real. They are the best team in the United States right now.
The Gophers win it 25-9 over Iowa. They improved to 14-0 and hang on to number 1. More here on FSN North after this. The border brawl from Williams Arena goes to the team from Minnesota. The Gophers 25-9 over Iowa. Thanks for joining us here on FSN North. I'm Ron Johnson, joined by Will Short. First of all, we hope Matt Fields is okay. He's being helped off right now, and he was injured in the match with Cole Konrad, so we wish him well. So now we have to turn our attention to what happened. And Minnesota wins 7 out of 10 matches today. They get the win. They improve to 2-0 in the Big Ten. Jay Robinson gets his 100th victory in the Big Ten. So a big matchup here for the number 1 team in the country.
Well, I tell you what, they are really wrestling with great energy. I got to give it a lot of credit to the Golden Gopher coaching staff. Jay Robinson, Marty Morgan, Joe Russell. These kids don't even look the same, and I say kids because this is a young team, don't even look like they looked like early in the year. They're wrestling with so much more confidence, so much more energy. They're believing in themselves. And I even though they won the duel against Oklahoma State, I wasn't sure. But I tell you what, I'm a believer, and I think everybody here today is a believer now that this team could win the national title this year. They are that good.
All right, it all starts with a win here against Iowa in the border battle, and they get the victory over Iowa, and a big win for them to propel them until the rest of the season, perhaps that national championship run you're talking about.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see what happens from this point on.
All right, that's it from Williams Arena. The final score, Minnesota 25, Iowa 9 in the border brawl. Coming up next on FSN North, it's the best damn sports show, period, followed by FSN Live Twins Caravan from Winona, Minnesota. For my partner tonight, Will Short, I'm Ron Johnson. Thanks for watching Gophers Wrestling on FSN North. The #1 team in the country from Minnesota gets the win 25-9.